Community and modern day slavery. Now, let me break down in detailed what the slave scenario was, or how a slave lived and the slave master. The slave master owned the land, okay? It was in his name and his name only, or his family's name, or whatever it may be. His wives, his family's name, okay? And that slave master had slaves. Where he got the slaves from, whether he purchased them, or they were given, or they were swapped, he had slaves. Okay, are you getting it? You getting it? He had slaves, and these slaves did not have a water bill, did not have a gas bill, did not have a food bill, a light bill, a mortgage payment, a car note. They didn't have anything. Why? Because they didn't own anything. They were slaves. Are you getting it? Is this a historical, factual representation of what a slave was during the 400 years of the oppression and the slavery of the so-called Negro black man in this, or a Hebrew in this country in America, right? And what the slave master would do is the slave master would send his slaves out to work on his land or other people's land, and that slave master got all of the proceeds from that transaction. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what it meant to be a slave and slave master situation. Sure, every once in a while, possibly, would the slave master treat the slave a little bit better every once in a while, gave him scraps off the plate of the steaks or whatever that he ate that the slaves worked for and toiled for out in the farm, whether it was tending to the sheep or tending to the cattle or tending to the goats or whatever it is, or livestock that was on the land, or tilled the field or picked the cotton. Yeah, sure. Yes, that's exactly how it was. Did I miss anything? And if the slave ever thought to rise up against his master by so much as a questioning, that slave was beaten, or killed, castrated. That's what happened back then. So the slave knew never to rise up against your slave master, because the repercussions, the whipping, the beating, the torture would be, let alone the psychological torture, would be so immense that everybody else knew, shut your damn mouth. You fast forward today, because see, you got to understand that the Hebrews taught the nations sin and inequity. We taught them how to transgress the law, because all they did, all the people of the world did, was just look at us and say, man, they transgressing Yah's law. Man, look at them cats. This is how you sin. And so there you go. Fast forward today to Straitway, Georgia, for over the past decade with Pastor Rufus Caldwell. He himself lorded over the saints, took all their money, lived high on the hog. They worked while he stood up and did videos. They gave all their paycheck to him. He gave them back trinkets or scraps on the dollar. They didn't have any food bill or light bill or gas bill or water bill or phone bill or blah, 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 blah. Right? Not only that, they were psychologically abused, because in this day and age, you just can't, you know what I'm saying, beat or whip a person. So what you do is you psychologically abuse them. And that's what he did. And so he turns around, right? And you see, if anybody rose up against him, what he did was basically just put him off the land. I know two instances he did it. A brother named Brother Darishan, Brother Junior. Hey, sent them packing, he didn't give them nothing. Those are the two people I know. There's more sisters that went through this, and people that went through this when he was done with them. Hey, man, oh, you gonna question me? You gonna question me? Who in the hell you think you are? Get off the land that Brother Randy or Boaz and pass it down. Everybody else chipped in so your punk ass can live. You see the hypocrisy? Modern day slavery. There is no difference between the two. Did I miss anything? This is what's going on. Where so-called leaders like Pastor Rufus, this is how he's treating people. This is how he's treated people. Own testimonies of the people that got up and testified against him. Of that what was going on. Could you imagine living under that? A literal peasant, living under Straightway, Georgia, under Pastor Rufus? Could you imagine living that? He has no credibility. He has no honor. Do right by the people and give all that money back. You think that pig is going to do that? No, he ain't. He on to the next scam.